Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my reading journey. Today, I'm reading the fourth part of The Headhunter. Hope you're all doing great, and we are beginning. Alright. I found Chloe and Louis Dubois sitting under the awning in the front of the house. She jumped up and met me with a double handshake. I'm glad to see you out again, she cried, every word a pearl strung on the string of her sentence. You, you're well, Tommy, or better, of course. I wanted to come to see you, but they wouldn't let me. Oh, yeah, said I, carelessly. It was nothing, merely a little fever. I'm out again, as you see. We three sat there and talked for half an hour or so. Then Chloe looked out, yearningly, yearningly, and almost piteously, 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 across the ocean. I could see in her sea blue eyes some deep and intense desire. The war cursed him, saw it too. What is it? We asked in unison. Coconut pudding, said Chloe, pathetically, pathetically. We wanted some, oh, so badly, for 2 days. It's get beyond a wish. It's an obsession. The coconut season is over, said Dubois, in that voice of his that gave thrilling interest to his almost commonplace words. I hardly think one could be found in Mujada. The natives never use them except when they are green and the milk is fresh. They sell all the ripe ones to the fruiterers. Fruiterers. Wouldn't a broiled lobster or Welsh rabbit do as well? I remarked with engaging idiocy. I, sorry, idiocy. I, idiocy. Idiocy. Engaging idiocy. Of a pernicious fever convalescent convalescent conval convalescent convalescent. Who knows what is this? Chloe came as near pouring as a sweet disposition and the perfect profile would allow her to come. Their vendor Homer poked his ermine lined face through the doorway and added a concordance. Concordance to the conversation. Sometimes, said he, old campus keeps their dried nuts and a little stone store on the hill, but it would be far better, my daughter, to restrain unusual desires and partake, partake, thankfully, partake of the daily dishes that the Lord has set before us. Stuff, said I. How is that? Asked the Reverend Homer sharply. I say it tough. I say it tough, said I, to drop into the vernacular. Vernacular. No idea. That Miss Greeny should be deprived, deprived of the food she desires. A simple thing like calcium pudding. Perhaps, I continued solicitously. Some pickled walnuts or a fricassee of Hunger, Hungarian butternuts would do as well. Everyone looked at me with a side exhibition of curiosity. Louis de War arose and made his adios. Adi, adios. Adios. I watched him until he had Saturn slowly and grandiosely, to the corner around which he turned to reach his great warehouse and store. Chloe made her excuses and went inside for a few minutes to attend to some detail affecting the 7 o'clock dinner. She was a past mistress in housekeeping. I had tasted her puddings and bread with beatitude, 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 beatitude. When all had gone, I turned casually and saw a basket made of plated green with wishes, with with us, no idea, hanging by a nail outside of the door jamb. With a rush that made my hot temples throb, 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 there came vividly to my mind recollections of the headhunters, those grim flaunter, relentless little men, never seeing but chilling the warmest noonday by the stubble terror of their concealed presence. From time to time, as vanity or ennui, ennui, or love, or jealousy, or ambition may move him, one crimps forth with a snickersnee, with his snickersnee, and takes up the silent trail. Back he comes, triumphant, bearing the severed, bearing the severed, gory head of his victim. His particular brown or white mane lingers with fluttering bosom, casting soft tiger's eyes at the evidence of his love for her. I stole softly from the house and returned to my hut. From its supporting nails in the wall, I took a machete, as heavy as a butcher's, clever and sharper than a safety razor. And then I chuckled softly to myself and set out the fastidiously appointed private office. Fastidiously appointed private office of Moiser Louis de War, usurper, usurper, never seen this before, usurper to the hand of the Pearl of the Pacific. He was never slow at thinking. He gave one look at my face and another at the weapon in my hand as I entered his door, and then he seems to fade from my sight. I ran to the back door, kicked it, kicked kicked it open, and saw him running like a deer up the road towards the wood that began 200 yards away. I was after him with a shout. I remember hearing children and women screaming and seeing them flying from the road. He was fleet, but I was stronger. A mile, and I had almost come up with him. He doubled cunningly, and dashed into a break that extended into a small canyon. I crashed through his through this after him. I crashed through these after him, and in 5 minutes had him cornered in an angle of insurmountable insurmountable cliffs. There his instinct of self-preservation stated 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 him, as it will steady even animals at bay. He turned to me, quite calm, with a hustly smile. "Oh, Rayburn," he said, with such an awful effort at ease that I was impolite enough to laugh rudely in his face. "Oh, Rayburn," said he, "come, let's have done with this nonsense. Of course, I know it's the fever and you're not yourself, but collect yourself. Man, give me that ridiculous weapon now, and let's go back and talk it over." "I will go back," said I, "carrying your head with me. We will see how charmingly it can discourse when it lies in the basket at her door." "Come," said he, presu- presumably, presumably, "I think better of you than to suppose that you try this sort of thing as a joke, but even the wagaries of a fever-crazed lunatic come sometime to a limit. What is this talk about hats and baskets? Get yourself together and throw away that absurd cane shopper. What would Miss Greene think of you?" he ended with the silky cajolery, silky cajolery that one would use towards fretful child. Alright, guys, the dialogue continues, and we're gonna figure out, is this guy gonna chop the other guy's head? Yeah. See you tomorrow on the next part. Bye.